we have this video also of Ahl Gaza praying Salat al-Jumu'ah in the circumstances that they have now. And I want to bring that up and just, it's La ilaha illa Rabbi. Amazing, amazing human beings these people are. If you look at this. Well, it's incredible. It's incredible. That's at number one, an account that everyone should be following. Eye on Palestine. You should follow it if you're on Instagram. You should have it. Look, I'm not a big social media person. I really, I know the harms of social media, but I would really say that we can't be unaware of what's happening. And we have to raise awareness to the world to whatever degree that we can about what is happening. So you can't raise awareness to something that you and I are not aware of. And so you want to ensure that you're at least seeing what's happening. To Instagram's credit, as of late, you can still find raw footage of what's happening in Gaza, though they tried to put a blackout on it for a while, but alhamdulillah, it's still out there. So you see Ahl Palestine still praying Salat al-Jumu'ah, gathering, not afraid. They're not allowing this genocidal army to stop them from their duties to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, it's incredible. The treasure of the ma'rifah, the knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that experiential bond that you have with the deen of Allah, with La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, keeps these hearts breathing and keeps their bodies moving. And they gather on the day of Jumu'ah for Salah. And we all should be gathering on the day of Jumu'ah for the Salah. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, he told us about the specialness of the day of Jumu'ah. It's a special day. It's the day that Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam was created. He told us sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi that it's the best of days. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. And he told us that it's going to be the day that the trumpet will be blown. And he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi gave us all an order about the day of Jumu'ah to send as many blessings upon him sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi as we can. Do a lot of durood sharif. Do a lot of salah an nabi. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Allahumma, do lots of that. Why? He said, because your prayers upon me are shown to me. The Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi in the state of al-barzakh, he physically has returned to Allah. He's experienced what every being will experience, which is death. But death for the Muslims is not the end. Death takes us into a new state of being, which is called the barzakh, the life in the grave. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi is experiencing a reality in the barzakh that you and I cannot even imagine. He tells us about Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, when he sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi was on the Isra, when he was going on the night journey, even before the Mi'raj, that he saw Moses in his grave praying. So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, the prophet, the great prophet of Bani Israel, is in his grave praying. So what do we think is happening with Sayyidina Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi? And he tells us that our actions are sown to him, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, on Thursdays. And what he sees of good from you and I, the Prophet ﷺ thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. And what he sees of harm that we've done, he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us. And so we want to send as many blessings and prayers upon the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi on that day. Why? Because, does anyone know why? Because he told us to. See, we want to follow Sayyidina Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. Number two, he told us sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi that those that send the most prayers upon me are going to be the closest ones to me on the day of judgment. So, as I've said before, on that day, I don't want to be left to myself. I don't want to be left to myself. I want to hide behind the Messenger of God sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. And so the only way that that's going to be a reality is if I bring myself close to him. And how do I bring myself close to him? Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. He told us through many prayers upon him, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. And Yawm al-Jum'ah also so special. He told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, about an hour. Excuse me, I'm just a little bit under the weather today. ولكن إن شاء الله طهورا يا ربي يا كريم جزاكم الله خير الله يبارك فيك. He told us about an hour, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, on the day of Jumu'ah, that there isn't a dua that a Muslim servant makes except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts from him or her during that hour. And so the ulama told us that we seek it between Asr, between the prayer of Asr and Salat al-Maghrib. So it's an encouragement for all of us to be in dua, to be in prayer from Al-Asr until Maghrib, furthering that connection to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, furthering that connection to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. You see, the Palestinians are not leaving that. The Palestinians are not leaving Salat al-Jum'ah with all the challenges that they have. So, if we have some challenges at work, I think we can make it work by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah.